There's more to Arya's Game of Thrones prophecy than you think. Another week, another episode of Game of Thrones gone. We've reached the halfway point of Thrones' final season with episode 70 called The Long Night. Now, this installment had long been set up as the dreaded Battle of Winterfell. There was fire, ice, death, and so much more, but before we get into everything that went down, we're giving you a spoiler warning, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, this might be a good time to make like Bran and warg your way out of here before you get stabbed by any of these icy spoilers. Like we said, this episode was all about the Battle of Winterfell, the final confrontation of the Night King and his frostbitten forces versus Jon Snow, Dany, and their Winterfell All-Stars. And as expected, we did get our fair share of deaths. Pour one out for Theon, Jorah, Lyanna, Beric, Melisandre, Dolorous Edd, and Viserion. But the episode wasn't all about the endings. The show also dangles some intriguing threads for how the remaining 3 episodes might play out. Previously, the Night King had been set up as the series' big bad, but in The Long Night, he got snoked hard. And the finishing blow came courtesy of the girl with no name. That's right, it's Arya Stark coming in from half court with a Valyrian steel skyhook. She drops the rock, but she picks it back up on the rebound, and the shot is good! Winterfell wins the game! Of course, the Red Priestess had just teased this out in the scene prior with a remix of her Season 3 prophecy, where she originally told Arya, "I see a darkness in you, and in that darkness, eyes staring back at me."
Brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. Eyes you'll shut forever.
Emphasis on the blue eyes sported by our pal the Night King, but what if there was more to that prophecy than we thought? What if it didn't just end at old Selsun Blue? Whose other eyes could Melisandre be referring to? We have a theory and we're gonna break it down now. Brown eyes could refer to any number of people Arya has killed, since brown eyes are pretty freaking common. But in all likelihood, it was meant to reference one of the big early names on her hit list, like Meryn Trant, the dude who killed her sword instructor, or Walder Frey, the old man who red-weddinged half the Stark clan. Blue eyes. Night King, move on. But green eyes. Now, who could those green eyes belong to? Well, you probably don't need the Lord of Light to tell you that there's currently a green-eyed monster sitting on the Iron Throne, and now it looks like she's the real big bad this whole thing has been building up to. You guessed it, Cersei has emerald eyes, and those are most likely the green peepers Melisandre is talking about. Sounds like Arya still has a little more stabby to do to fulfill that prophecy, and that's going to take her all the way to the throne room at King's Landing to finish off Cersei. And when you think about it, that kind of makes sense. Arya has been killing her way across Essos and Westeros for the past few seasons, making good headway on her list of people she wants to murk, either by killing them like Meryn Trant and Walder Frey, or by making peace with them like her weird friendship with the Hound. But there's been one person who's been on her list since the very beginning who is very, very much alive, and just so happens to be the biggest threat to the combined Stark and Targaryen forces, Cersei Lannister. But of course, we know what you're saying right now. Hey, Nerdist News, what about that other famous Game of Thrones prophecy, the one that says Cersei will be killed by Little Brother, aka the Valonqar? Well, we might counter that by pointing out that prophecy only appears in the books and not the shows, so it might not be applicable here. But if that prophecy is still in play, it doesn't necessarily negate the possibility that Arya will kill Cersei. For one thing, Arya still has those face-stealing skills that she picked up from the Faceless Men. She could easily get close to Cersei in the guise of Tyrion or Jaime, who both technically qualify as her little brother, and then shank her. Maybe Maggie the Frog, the fortune teller who delivered the little brother prophecy, did really foresee Cersei's death, but didn't realize the killer was actually Arya in a mask. But maybe there's another way to still interpret the whole little brother thing. Think way back to season 2 when Arya was pretending to be a boy in order to make it safely through Westeros after her father was executed for supposed treason. During that storyline, Arya acquires a very unexpected ally, Tywin Lannister, Cersei's dad. Tywin takes Arya under his wing for a few episodes, not realizing that she's a Stark, but he did figure out that she's not a boy, and imparts upon her a lot of the wisdom that starts her down her path to becoming the cold, calculating person that she is today. It's not exactly the most healthy family dynamic, but in a weird way, Arya does become a surrogate son to Tywin for that short period of time, meaning you could kind of look at Cersei as her surrogate sister. Not exactly blood related, but both shaped by Tywin's stern, affectionless parenting style. This is thin, but still possible. It is worth noting that while this theory could be true, it's not necessarily the only possible outcome for this. Arya scored a huge win this week, and we're betting the show might want to save some glory and renown for somebody else. Plus, while it would be narratively satisfying for Arya to kill Cersei, it would be even more poignant to have her brother, lover, Jaime, or Tyrion to finally pull the trigger, especially now that Cersei has sent Bronn out to kill the both of them. No matter what happens, Cersei is definitely in danger from any number of enemies, and Arya's just proven herself to be a legitimately deadly threat. We'll have to wait and see how everything unfolds in the final 3 episodes. But what do you folks think? Could Arya be the little brother that kills Cersei? Are there any other green-eyed meanies in Westeros that we might have forgotten about? And do you think Cersei has managed to get those elephants that she wanted yet?
I wanted those elephants.
I mean, she just wants the Iron Throne and elephants. Why is that so hard? Let's discuss. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to get notified every time we go live with a show or drop a new video. And if this isn't enough Game of Thrones for you, make sure to check out our Game of Thrones after show, All Kings Considered, live Mondays at noon Pacific on Nerdist YouTube and Geek and Sundry's Twitch. And if you missed the episode live, you can always check it out on demand on Geek and Sundry's Twitch.